maybe something got cut off, like some utility or something. I'm seeing this Four of Coins in reverse, but I'm turning I'm turning it up in the upright right now. As someone being frugal with their time, with their energy. I'm also feeling like your spirit guides are really in your they're in your light right now. They're in your aura and they're protecting your energy. So some things maybe you need to be edited. Some things need to be edited out. You were in your hermit mode. Same energy of being alone, being isolated for a good reason. But maybe that's what we don't need to get into. Just moving forward now, you're going to be maybe a little bit more protective of your energy because you realize that you are very desirable. Let's say that with this hangman, you're very desirable. Your energy is very desirable. And okay, let's just leave it there. Because I feel like there's a lot that not necessarily needs to be said. Okay? Because you're learning, you're growing, you're improving, and you can definitely pick up on the clues and the cues that your spirit guides are giving you to leave some things in the past and let that past go back to where it belongs or where it came from while it was chasing you, trying to fight you, trying to fight your thoughts, going tit for tat. Let that remain in the past. So this is a whole new world, whole new territory, because for somebody who is so observant as you are, you can pick up on a lot of information very quickly and apply what you've learned without skipping a beat. So you grow really quickly, you grow really fast, and you learn really fast. So it's going to be a time where you actually take a break and celebrate what you've done. Celebrate this new season that you're in. This new energy. Really recognize that things have changed, things are different, and go with those rules, the new rules, and being okay and being safe. This death card, I feel like, ran through your town, and it took out all those demons and all those negative entities that were harassing you. They're gone. I mean, that may be all that's left, and all that's left in your environment that you see is the residue. We're talking about spiritual, because the physical person, anger that they had towards you for no reason, that jealousy that they had towards you, the antagonistic energy, all that's gone. It's like they lost that fight. They're just here now, just like a baby that's got his bottle and he's on something else right now. He's thinking about the milk. He's not worried about you. Whereas though before, you had something that he wanted or she wanted, and they didn't know how to ask nicely. It was that peace of mind, and they weren't going to get it until you had it and you understood how it worked, because it surpasses their understanding. They don't know how to reach the heights that you reach. And also because this may be your community. Maybe you have a high position in this community, and it's your job, it's your position, your role to lead them to greener pastures. But when you took over this position, they were almost like rabbit animals, I'm saying cartoons, raccoons. They just didn't behave like normal human beings. I feel like, if I'm even able to say that, I feel like, okay, let's move on. The Three of Cups here. Someone is celebrating. It's like they wanted to celebrate you, and they were very, very happy to see you, but they just didn't have the articulation to express themselves and express their joy. They didn't understand their feelings. They were almost feral. Okay. Like cut off from society with this hermit card. Maybe you went into an isolated area to get away from an urban area or a metropolis, cosmopolitan, a very busy area. And now that you're isolated, you realize that it's almost like there's no space on the earth that isn't occupied by somebody or something. This could even be like a fairy world situation, because I'm getting like they're very much in between worlds of being human and animal. So this is for entertainment. I just want to be clear that this is new territory. And so maybe you're going to do some research and learning on fairy worlds, because it seems like there's a level of weakness here where people don't really have, if I'm even able to call this new world people, because I feel like it's more closely related to fairies. And this is, again, new. This energy is new. And so I'm trying to tread lightly here. I'm not really sure what can be said. But I feel like there's like a very tremendous lack of willpower here. Whereas people kind of act on their emotions, or fairies act on their emotions. Even some like the rules just aren't the same, or they're not as enforced. So this might have not been something you planned. Maybe you just walked into it. Just like I'm walking into this energy, it feels like something you want to be really hesitant about. You have power. And so if this is a new relationship that you're walking into, you don't want to be too quick to judge and writing down a new law for this area. And when I say writing down a law, I mean like with the way you speak to yourself, like, okay, so he's this way because of this. And it's just a thought. You might see somebody trip and you say, okay, he's clumsy because he's intoxicated or something. You don't want to put those words into the universe just yet, because maybe your energy is just very focused. Maybe you just have a tremendous amount of power and you're sending waves. Like your brain waves are actually like tumultuous. And you're going to learn how to control your own energy so that people don't stumble and fall around you. I think you have a lot of power. So you're going to learn to get that under control so that you can give this new flock green pastures, safe waters, a safe environment, because they do trip and fall around you. And that may have been the reason why everywhere you go, you might have been traveling from one place to the next, and you probably picked places that were so different from the last place because of your experience. But everywhere you go, it seems like people are going crazy. And that's because your energy is so strong. And also it's like a frequency thing. You see what you're used to seeing. So your frequency to see, okay, it's just one or two people that are kind of struggling, but the majority of the people are stable and secure. And they're also aware of these people who are struggling and give them their room and their space to recover from whatever they're going through. But it's not the whole world. So that's kind of what I'm getting from this energy. Like, it's a good day, but maybe somebody has such a tremendous amount of focus that they just go straight to the problem. And it could be because of where you used to live. Maybe you were constantly fixing things. So the first thing to fix a problem is to acknowledge it. And let's just back up a little bit, not necessarily retreat from the situation, but just not go as forceful towards it, and kind of give people their room to become more accustomed to your energy, because you have a lot of energy. Yeah. You got to be really careful about what you say, because your words take root and they walk the earth and do what you say they're going to do. Okay. Very powerful energy, very powerful thoughts, feelings, and it's important that it stays in balance. Where we go? It's important to keep your thoughts and your feelings in balance. You're gonna have some support because I'm lonely to be this close to the top and seeing. Okay, you got 9 of Pentacles here, and seeing how much power you have because you're still human. It's almost like if your thoughts were electric bolts or thunder, lightning bolts, you don't want to just like throw your thoughts at a town or throw your thoughts on a subject because you might knock it down. So you got to be really gentle without losing your power in on itself. So somebody might have went through that, turning their power in on themselves. Maybe that's what gave you the firsthand look at tasting your own medicine. And that could be the reason why you are so careful these days with how you look at things and how you talk to people. Because it's like this is your world. You want people to be happy. You want people to be happy. So this is something that wanted to be left in the past, calling to bring it back to the surface. Somebody gave you this power. I'm just going to be clear on what I'm hearing. It could have been a warlock. I'm not too sure about the terms, but I mean somebody that practices black magic, possibly a male figure. And he I feel like he comes from a long line of witches and warlocks. Not to get too deep in this new territory, it just feels like it's a war in some area, like in the thought and the way people think and control themselves and control the environment to be his queen, but you didn't support the way he lived. So that's where that fight was coming from with this 8 of Wands. He wanted to give you his power. His power was kind of dark and devilish, but according to him, he didn't feel that way. He wanted you to be his side, his better half, but you didn't agree with the way he functioned. And so that might have been part of what you were isolating yourself from. You felt like people deserve better. Like he could have been somebody who was a bully and he had a lot of influence over people, the way people thought. So he might have, been like, watch this, and, make somebody trip or something, or make somebody cough or make somebody lose their mind. However strong his power was, you saw him in action. And it's just like, okay, you're learning that people have this type of power. You know that you always have a choice and the path that you choose is up to you. You don't have to follow in someone else's footsteps. 5 of Cups in reverse, or is it 6 of Cups in reverse? It just seems like something happened in the past that was pretty dark. And you chose the light, and that was kind of where most of this fight was coming from. To be positive, to have power and use it for good, and actually maintain that there is a difference between good and evil, and it's not all grays. An infinite amount of gray areas. I want to say something about shades of gray. Could have been some debauchery here. Like the lines were just so blurred. But I feel like you kept your, you kept your moral standards and your moral high ground, and you walked away from this trap. So I'm seeing that you're going to recharge, definitely. And you also may bear the scars of this relationship if it was an abusive one. I'm not going to say wear it proudly, but this 9 of Cups usually does represent something that you show with pride, even if other people don't necessarily agree with it. Because you might have been in a fight with a werewolf. And he could have left some scars, but his are much worse, is what I'm getting. Not to get all tangled in that energy. I feel like it was a lot of fights happening in the past. And that's what you're leaving behind. That's what you left behind. That's what you isolated yourself from. But then you found yourself in another situation that required you to fight. But the people that you had to fight were people that you love. They were your enemies because they chose that position, but you learn so much more than whatever level they're stuck on. So you're definitely seen as an authority figure, and for them to fight you was them rebelling against the status quo, um, the system, and it's something that they're going to eventually come to submit to, because you are the one helping them. You're giving them the water, you're giving them the food, and in the spiritual sense, you're giving them the nourishment and the light. Okay, let's move on. Pull just a few more cards, clarify. Okay. Clarify the future here with this Four of Pentacles, the Chariot. You're definitely moving towards it. And then I'm seeing Four of Wands here as well. Again, which is like kind of closing up this energy. Where are you headed? And not just being frugal with your money and frugal with your energy, but also having this celebration that's within your own walls. When you get things that you've accomplished and not necessarily sharing it with everybody. And I hope this is making sense, but I feel like you have a big amount of portions to give out that is within the amount of dosage. Again, this could be somebody who's in chemistry or knows about pharmacy or pharmaceuticals, whereas though people need you and it's not something you really have to advertise, but at the same time, you want to make sure that people are safe and that there are rules and regulations that you follow. Even if you're the one, at the end of the day, this is your flock and you want to keep them healthy. Knight of Swords in reverse, Knight of Cups in reverse, the Emperor here. Yeah, and then you have this Temperance card again, having patience with yourself as well. Because you being the Queen of Pentacles, it means that you have access to something. Like almost like, I'll finish my thought. You have access to something that other people want, but they don't have access to it. And it is part of your journey and your goal, your agenda to get this thing to them. Whatever it is you have access to. So have patience with yourself more than anyone, because you're the one doing the work, okay? And they definitely want what you have. You want them. So give yourself time and space and grace to get whatever this job is that needs to be done. Is there any more about that? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, because I'm seeing it like as you being kind of like a miner. And I just hear gold digger. But what you're digging for is going to be shared within the community. And it's almost like they hired you to do the digging. So you definitely want to take your time. You're searching out these new areas, this new territory. You don't want to shame yourself and cloud your judgment with any stigma like, oh, she's a gold digger or whatever, because you're searching out energy. Okay, a couple more cards. Generosity. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely feel like when you come up around you and you're going through a transition right now. So take your time. Have confidence in yourself with the Queen of Wands here. Definitely get some time to recharge, giving and receiving. Yeah, okay, so you're going to get paid for your work is what I'm getting. It's not just like you're somebody's slave going to dig for this gold. They definitely have some some valuable asset or exchange that they want to give you for what you have. And then I'm seeing here. So it just looks like gold, pretty much like a gold mine. And yeah, I feel like that's it for this energy. I mean, it definitely keeps on going, but the take home is that when you get these coins, be very careful to have a place for them and make sure that it keeps flowing, that you don't feel like you need to hoard all of this energy that you get. Let it come and let it go, let it flow.